Episode 17, The Safe House. The Safe House was in Queens, a nondescript two-story building on a residential street where all the houses looked identical. Brick facades, small front yards, chain-link fences. The kind of neighborhood where nobody paid attention to their neighbors, where federal agents could hide 5 teenagers without anyone asking questions. It was 2:47 p.m. when the unmarked van finally pulled into the driveway. Marcus had been checking his mother's watch every few minutes during the drive, each tick of the second hand marking time away from the life he'd known. 48 hours minimum, Agent Johnson had said. 48 hours locked in a safe house while federal agents verified evidence and built a case that might take months or years to prosecute. He climbed out of the van, his legs stiff from sitting, and looked at the house that would be their cage. 2 agents he didn't recognize stood by the front door, a white man in his 30s with a military bearing and a Latina woman who looked barely older than they were. Both wore suits and shoulder holsters visible beneath their jackets. "Inside," Agent Johnson said, her voice professional but not unkind. "We'll get you settled, then we need to start the debriefing process." Miguel helped Carmen out of the van. She'd been silent since the garage confrontation with Diego, her face pale and drawn. She still wore the dark sweatshirt from their rooftop escape, now rumpled and stained with sweat. When her feet touched the driveway, she swayed slightly and Miguel caught her elbow. "I got you," he whispered. Tommy emerged next, still protective of the camera, even though the photographs were now in federal custody. The agents had taken all 7 Polaroids as evidence, leaving Tommy with an empty camera that suddenly felt like a useless weight around his neck. Ray came last, his hands twitching with that nervous energy that had been constant since Diego's crew released him outside the warehouse. The interior of the safe house was as generic as the exterior. Beige walls, brown carpet, furniture that looked like it came from a government surplus catalog. The living room had a couch, 2 chairs, and a television. The kitchen was visible through an archway, clean and sterile. Upstairs, Agent Johnson explained, were 3 bedrooms and a bathroom. "Boys in 1 room, Carmen gets her own," Johnson said. "The 3rd bedroom is for whoever's on watch duty. There will always be at least 2 agents in the house." "Like prison," Ray muttered. Johnson's expression didn't change. "Like protection. Diego Santos is still out there, and he knows you have evidence that could destroy his operation. This house is the safest place you can be right now." The male agent introduced himself as Agent Reeves. The young Latina was Agent Martinez. Both had the same professional courtesy as Johnson, polite but distant, doing a job that involved keeping 5 scared teenagers alive. "There's food in the kitchen," Martinez said. "Sandwiches, fruit, drinks. You must be hungry." Marcus realized he couldn't remember the last time he'd eaten. Yesterday afternoon, maybe? Before the warehouse operation, before the rooftop escape, before the subway ride to Manhattan and the confrontation with Diego in the federal garage. His stomach felt hollow, but the thought of food made him vaguely nauseous. "I'm not hungry," Carmen said quietly. "Can I just lie down?" Johnson nodded. "Agent Martinez will show you to your room. The rest of you, living room. We need to start going over your statements in detail." Carmen followed Martinez upstairs, Miguel watching her go with an expression that made Marcus's chest ache. The separation was only temporary, different rooms in the same house, but it felt like another small amputation, another piece of their lives being carved away. Johnson sat in one of the chairs, pulling out a yellow legal pad and a pen. Reeves positioned himself by the front window, watching the street through a gap in the curtains. Marcus, Tommy, Ray, and Miguel arranged themselves on the couch, sitting close enough that their shoulders touched. That physical contact was the only thing keeping Marcus grounded. "Let's start from the beginning," Johnson said. "How did Miguel Rodriguez end up working for Diego Santos?" Miguel took a breath. His voice, when he spoke, was steady despite the exhaustion that lined his face. "Last summer, July, Diego caught me and Carmen together in Crotona Park. She wasn't supposed to be seeing me. Her parents had forbidden it. Diego said if I wanted to be with his sister, I had to earn the right. He made me work for him." "What kind of work?" "At first, just watching, standing on corners, keeping track of who came and went, then counting money. He had me come to his social club, count the cash from his dealers, package it for deposit. He said he was teaching me the business. Did you handle drugs? Johnson's pen moved across the legal pad. Not until Thursday night, the warehouse meeting. That was supposed to be my first delivery. Johnson looked up. Supposed to be? I dropped the brick when Carmen warned about the police. Created a distraction so my friends could get away. Johnson made a note. Tell me about the warehouse operation. Whose idea was it? Marcus felt all 3 sets of eyes turn toward him. He swallowed against the dryness in his throat. Mine. Miguel told us about the meeting. Diego and his supplier, Thursday night at a Hunts Point warehouse. We thought if we could document it, photograph the transaction, we'd have evidence to take to federal authorities. Something that would force Diego to let Miguel go. You broke into a warehouse, Johnson said. It wasn't a question. Tommy climbed onto the factory roof across the street. Ray hid behind shipping containers. I watched for unexpected arrivals. We didn't break in. We stayed outside the warehouse. But you trespassed on private property. You conducted surveillance without legal authority. You photographed people without their knowledge or consent. Johnson's voice remained neutral, but Marcus heard the implication. Everything they'd done could be challenged in court. We were kids trying to help our friend, Tommy said, his voice sharp. We didn't know about warrants and legal authority. We just knew Miguel was trapped and nobody else was going to help him. Johnson studied Tommy for a moment. I'm not criticizing your motives. I'm explaining the legal complications we're facing. Defense attorneys will argue your evidence is inadmissible. They'll say you were acting as government agents without proper authorization. They'll claim entrapment, illegal search and seizure, violation of their client's civil rights. So the photographs don't matter? Ray's hands twitched against his thighs. We risked our lives for nothing? I didn't say that. Johnson set down her pen. The photographs give us probable cause to obtain proper warrants. They show us what to look for and where to look. But building a case that will actually put Diego Santos in prison, that takes time and careful work. It takes testimony from people who were inside his organization. Her eyes moved to Miguel. People like you. Miguel's jaw tightened. I'll testify. I'll tell them everything I saw, everything I did. Diego's money operations, his distribution network, the names of his dealers and suppliers, whatever you need. Good, Johnson said, because your testimony is more valuable than the photographs. You're an insider who can describe the organization's structure and operations. That's what prosecutors need to build a RICO case. RICO? Marcus asked. Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. It's designed to prosecute entire criminal enterprises, not just individual crimes. If we can prove Diego Santos runs an ongoing criminal organization, we can seize his assets, prosecute his entire crew, and put him away for decades instead of years. The front door opened. Agent Carter stepped inside, his suit jacket rumpled, his expression grim. He nodded to Johnson, then looked at the 4 boys on the couch. We need to talk about your families, he said. Marcus felt his stomach drop. What about them? Carter sat in the chair beside Johnson. We sent agents to notify them of your situation and offer protective custody. Your mother, Marcus, Helen Williams, she's at home, refuses to leave. Says she has to work tomorrow or she'll lose her job at the hospital. We have surveillance on her apartment building, but she won't accept relocation. Marcus closed his eyes. Of course, his mother wouldn't leave. She'd worked too hard for her position, sacrificed too much for his Columbia scholarship that was probably gone now anyway. She wouldn't abandon everything because federal agents told her to hide. Tommy's father, Carter continued, Frank Ritchie, he's at home, drunk. Became belligerent when our agents tried to explain the situation. Told them to get out of his house. We have someone watching the building, but he's not cooperating. Tommy's expression didn't change, but Marcus saw his friend's hands curl into fists against his thighs. Frank Ritchie passed out drunk while his son was in federal custody. Some things never changed. Ray's grandmother, Carter said, his voice gentler now. Mrs. Tucker, she's at home, says she's too old to run and hide. She's praying for you. That's what she told our agents. She's praying for all of you. Ray made a sound that might have been a laugh or a sob. Sounds like Grandma. Miguel's mother and brothers are the most vulnerable, Carter said, and Marcus saw Miguel stiffen beside him. Mrs. Rodriguez and her 2 younger sons live in Diego's territory. We offered relocation, but she refused. She doesn't believe her son worked for Diego Santos. She thinks this is a mistake, that Miguel would never do something like that. Miguel's voice was barely audible. She doesn't know. We tried to explain the danger, but she won't listen. She's convinced you're innocent, and this will all be cleared up soon. We have agents watching her building, but she's staying put. And Carmen's mother? Miguel asked. Carter and Johnson exchanged glances. Johnson spoke. Maria Santos is the most complicated situation. She lives with Diego in his apartment. We can't offer her protection without revealing that Carmen is cooperating with federal authorities. If we approach her, Diego will know immediately that his sister betrayed him. So she's just trapped there? Carmen's voice came from the stairway. She stood on the bottom step, Agent Martinez behind her, her face pale but her eyes fierce. My mother is trapped in that apartment with my brother, and you're not going to help her? Johnson stood. Carmen, we're trying to figure out the best approach. The best approach is to get her out. Carmen's voice cracked. Diego knows I betrayed him. He said it in the garage. He called me dead to him. Do you think he's going to protect our mother now? Do you think she's safe there? Diego Santos is many things, Carter said carefully, but he's never hurt his mother. Our intelligence suggests... Your intelligence doesn't know him like I do. Carmen descended the stairs, her hands shaking. Diego controls everything. He controlled where I went, who I saw, what I wore. He locked me in my room. He hid our mother when she tried to defend me. And now I've betrayed him, humiliated him in front of federal agents, helped gather evidence that could destroy everything he built. You think he's going to forgive that? You think he's going to keep playing the devoted son? Miguel stood, reaching for her, but Carmen pulled away. No. No more hiding, no more waiting. If the federal government won't protect my mother, then I'll go get her myself. You can't, Johnson said firmly. You leave this safe house, you're dead. Diego has people everywhere. You wouldn't make it 2 blocks. Then she's dead anyway. Tears streamed down Carmen's face now. Don't you understand? I'm the only family she has left. My father left when I was 10. Diego is a criminal who uses her as cover for his operation. I'm her daughter, and I just disappeared without explanation. She's probably crying right now, probably thinking I'm hurt or kidnapped or worse. And Diego is there, comforting her, lying to her, using her grief to maintain his image as the good son. How long before he decides she's a liability? How long before he realizes she might know something that could hurt him? The room was silent. Marcus saw the calculation in Johnson's eyes, the way Carter's jaw tightened. They knew Carmen was right. Maria Santos was vulnerable in ways the other families weren't. She lived with Diego, was dependent on him financially, was isolated in his world. We'll figure something out, Johnson said finally. Give us 24 hours to develop a plan. We can't just storm Diego's apartment without cause, but we can work with NYPD, coordinate a wellness check, find a legal way to extract her. 24 hours, Carmen repeated. And if something happens to her in those 24 hours? Johnson didn't answer, because they all knew the truth. If Diego decided his mother was a threat, 24 hours was more than enough time. Carmen turned and walked back upstairs. Martinez followed her. The sound of a door closing echoed through the safe house. Miguel sat down heavily, his head in his hands. This is my fault. All of it. I should have stayed away from her. Should have listened when her parents said no. Should have told Diego to go to hell instead of agreeing to work for him. You were protecting the person you love, Marcus said quietly. That's not wrong. It is if it gets her mother killed. Johnson gathered her legal pad and pen. We're going to take a break. You all need rest. We'll continue the debriefing this evening. Start getting formal statements on record. Agent Reeves will be on watch. If you need anything, ask him. She and Carter left through the front door. Marcus heard the van engine start, heard it pull away down the street. The safe house suddenly felt very small and very quiet. I'm going to check on Carmen, Miguel said, standing. Agent Reeves spoke from his position by the window. Give her some time. She needs space to process. Miguel hesitated, then nodded and sat back down. His hands gripped his knees, knuckles white. Marcus remembered that same grip during their rooftop escape. Remembered Miguel's fear when he'd nearly fallen into the alley. They'd all nearly died last night, and now they were trapped in a safe house while their families remained vulnerable in the Bronx. "I need air," Ray said abruptly. He stood, walked to the back door visible through the kitchen. "You can't go outside," Reeves said. "I'm not leaving. I just need to stand on the back porch. 5 minutes." Reeves considered, then nodded. 5 minutes. Stay where I can see you." Ray disappeared into the kitchen. Through the archway, Marcus watched him step onto a small back porch, his slim frame silhouetted against the afternoon light. His hands were still twitching, that nervous energy that never quite left him. Tommy stood. "I'm going to lie down. Wake me when dinner happens or when the world ends, whichever comes first." He climbed the stairs, his footsteps heavy. Marcus heard a door open and close, then it was just him and Miguel on the couch. Agent Martinez, somewhere upstairs with Carmen, Agent Reeves by the window, and Ray on the back porch. 5 teenagers scattered through a safe house that was supposed to protect them, but felt more like a tomb. Marcus checked his mother's watch. 3:23 p.m. In another life, the life that existed 48 hours ago, he would be at home right now. His mother would be making dinner. He'd be reviewing his Columbia orientation materials, planning what to pack, dreaming about his escape from the Bronx. That life felt impossibly distant now, like something that had happened to someone else. "You think they can really protect our families?" Miguel asked quietly. "I don't know," Marcus said honestly. "I think they'll try. But Diego is smart, patient. He's been running his operation for years without getting caught. He knows how to work around surveillance, how to threaten people without leaving evidence. So we destroyed our lives for nothing. We destroyed our lives trying to do the right thing. That's not nothing." Miguel turned to look at him. "You really believe that? Even now, with your Columbia scholarship probably gone, your mother refusing protection, all of us trapped in this house? You still think we did the right thing?" Marcus thought about his father's promise, the one Helen Williams had revealed at the hospital. Get him out. His father's dying wish, the dream that had driven his mother to work double shifts and sacrifice everything. Columbia had been the fulfillment of that promise, and now it was gone, traded for 7 photographs and the slim hope that federal authorities could build a case against Diego Santos. "Yeah," Marcus said finally. "I still think we did the right thing, because the alternative was watching you disappear into Diego's operation, watching you make heroin deliveries until you got arrested or killed. The alternative was letting Carmen stay trapped in that apartment, controlled by her brother, never having a chance to choose her own life. The alternative was doing nothing while Diego destroyed people in our neighborhood. So yeah, maybe we lost everything, but at least we tried." Miguel was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded. Okay, we keep going then. We give them the testimony they need. We help build the case, and we hope it's enough." "It has to be enough," Marcus said, "because we can't go back." Through the window, Marcus watched the sun move lower in the sky, shadows lengthening across the quiet Queen Street. Somewhere in the Bronx, Diego Santos was planning his next move. Somewhere in that same neighborhood, their families were going about their lives, unaware of the danger closing in. And here in this safe house, 5 teenagers waited to see if their sacrifice would mean anything at all. Agent Martinez came downstairs. Carmen's sleeping, or pretending to sleep. Either way, she needs rest. She looked at Marcus and Miguel. "You both should try to sleep too. It's going to be a long 48 hours. Marcus nodded, but didn't move. Sleep felt impossible. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Diego's face in the garage, saw that cold promise of vengeance. He saw his mother's apartment building, vulnerable and exposed. He saw the Columbia acceptance letter hidden in his desk drawer, the future that was slipping away. The front door opened. Agent Johnson returned, her expression unreadable. She looked at Marcus and Miguel on the couch, at Agent Reeves by the window, at Ray still standing on the back porch visible through the kitchen. "We have a problem," she said. "Diego Santos filed a missing person report an hour ago. Carmen Santos, last seen yesterday morning, believed to be in danger. He's claiming she was kidnapped by Miguel Rodriguez and his associates. He's demanding NYPD investigate, demanding they search for his sister." Miguel stood. "That's insane. She came willingly. She's the one who helped us. I know, Johnson interrupted. But Diego is playing this smart. He's using the system against us. If NYPD starts investigating Carmen's disappearance, they'll eventually trace her here. And then we have to explain why we're holding a 17-year-old girl. 18, Miguel corrected. Carmen is 18. She turned 18 in May. Johnson paused. You're sure? Positive. I was there for her birthday, May 15th. Johnson's expression shifted, calculation replacing concern. That changes things. If she's 18, she's a legal adult. Diego can't claim she was kidnapped if she came voluntarily. He can't demand we release her to his custody. But he can still make our lives difficult, Reeves said from the window. Missing person report means media attention, means pressure on the Bureau to explain what we're doing, means Diego controls the narrative. Johnson pulled out her phone. I need to call the U.S. Attorney's Office. We need to move faster than we planned. If Diego is going public with this, we need to get ahead of it. She stepped into the kitchen to make her call. Marcus looked at Miguel, saw the same fear reflected in his friend's eyes. Diego was already counterattacking, already using the system to fight back. And they'd only been in protective custody for a few hours. 48 hours minimum, Johnson had said. 48 hours locked in this safe house while Diego maneuvered and their families remained exposed. 48 hours to build a case that might take months or years to prosecute. Marcus checked his mother's watch again. 3:41 p.m. Time was moving, but it felt suspended, stretched thin across the distance between who they'd been yesterday and who they were becoming. 5 teenagers who'd crossed a threshold they couldn't uncross, who'd started a war they might not survive. Outside, the Queens neighborhood remained quiet and ordinary. But Marcus knew that wouldn't last. Diego Santos was out there, planning and calculating and preparing his revenge. And all they could do was wait in this safe house, hoping federal protection would be enough. Hoping they'd survive long enough to testify.
Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures. Thanks for watching our stories. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more epic adventures.